What would you do if your neighbor parked a $200,000 Bentley in front of your barn doors on your land to stop you from working? Well, I didn't call a tow truck. I fired up my tractor, and what happened next had the entire HOA talking. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more unbelievable Karen stories. Imagine this. You wake up at sunrise, the sky glowing with streaks of orange and pink, the cool morning breeze carrying that crisp smell of dew and fresh hay. You're ready to start a day, feed the horses, haul some hay, and check on the barn. But the second you walk outside, your whole morning comes to a screeching halt. Because right there, parked directly in front of your barn doors, sits a shiny, luxury Bentley, blocking you in, sitting there like it owns the place. That's exactly what happened to me. I live on a small ranch right at the edge of an HOA community. My land has been in my family for generations. It's not fancy, but it's mine. I wake up every day before most of my neighbors, get my tractor going, feed the animals, and keep things running. Ranch life isn't easy, but it's honest work, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But lately, my biggest challenge hasn't been the chores. It hasn't been the long hours or even the stubborn equipment. My real problem has been Karen. Now, let me tell you about Karen. She moved into the HOA right next to my property about 6 months ago. From the day she arrived, she made it clear she thought she was queen of the neighborhood. She strutted around like she owned not just her house, but everyone else's land too. And the complaints started almost immediately. She didn't like my tractor, said it was too loud, and woke her up in the mornings. She didn't like my horses, said they smelled bad and ruined the atmosphere of her backyard. She even went so far as to say my old family barn, standing proud long before her modern house was built, was an eyesore. At first, I shrugged it off. People complain. City folks move out here sometimes and don't understand that ranch life comes with noise, dust, and animals. I figured she'd either adapt or get over it. But Karen? She wasn't the type to get over anything. She was the type who wanted everything her way. One morning, I came outside to feed the horses, and that's what happened. I froze right in my tracks. There, sparkling in the morning sun, was her brand new Bentley. A car so shiny it looked like it had never even seen a dirt road. And where was it parked? Not in her driveway. Not along her curb. Nope, it was parked directly in front of my barn doors, completely blocking me in. At first, I thought maybe it was some kind of mistake. Maybe she had guests over, or maybe she'd pulled in there without realizing it was my property. But then I noticed something that made my blood boil. Taped right to the barn door was a note. Big, bold letters staring me in the face. Keep your tractor noise down. Some of us have standards. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Not only had she trespassed on my land and blocked my barn, but she actually had the nerve to leave a note insulting me. I tried to stay calm. I walked straight over to her house, knocked on the door, and when she answered, I asked, politely, mind you, if she could please move her car. She leaned against the doorframe, crossed her arms, and smirked. Then she said the words that flipped a switch inside me. Maybe if you had a real job instead of playing farmer, you wouldn't need to make so much noise at 6 in the morning. I stood there for a moment in shock. Did she really just say that? That was the moment I realized Karen wasn't going to stop. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was deliberate. And sure enough, I was right. For the next several days, she kept doing it, over and over. She'd pull that Bentley right up to my barn, blocking the doors whenever she felt like it. Sometimes it was for an hour. Sometimes it was for most of the morning. I couldn't get to my tractor. I couldn't haul hay. I couldn't even feed my horses on time. Every time I asked her to move it, she rolled her eyes, acted like I was being dramatic, and tossed out some smart remark like, "You'll live." But you see, she didn't realize something. She thought she was in control, that her shiny Bentley gave her the upper hand. But she was wrong. Because this time, she messed with the wrong person. On the fourth morning, I had officially had enough. The patience I'd been holding on to for days had worn thin. My horses needed feeding, I had hay that had to be hauled into the barn, and yet again there was the Bentley, parked right across my barn doors like a gleaming, gold-plated wall, daring me to do something about it. I stood there for a moment, staring at it. The morning sun reflected off its spotless hood, the chrome trim glistening like it was mocking me. I glanced over my tractor, sitting a few feet away, old but reliable, the exact opposite of Karen's shiny luxury toy. That's when the thought hit me like a lightning bolt. Why should I keep playing nice when she clearly doesn't care one bit about me, my land, or my work? That was it. I was done. I climbed up into the seat of my tractor. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears, but my decision was already made. With one twist of the key, the engine roared to life. The familiar deep growl echoed across the ranch, shaking the ground beneath me. I knew she'd hear it from her kitchen. In fact, I wanted her to hear it. Slowly, I rolled forward, lining up the tractor with the back of her Bentley. The closer I got, the calmer I became. This was my land, my barn, my life, and nobody had the right to take that from me. The front tires hit the Bentley's bumper, and the sound was deafening. A crunch that echoed like thunder across the ranch. Metal twisted, the polished chrome snapped, and Karen's so-called pride and joy folded like a cheap soda can. I didn't stop there. I pressed forward, the hood caving in under the weight of the tractor, glass shattering in a cascade of sparks and shards. That's when she came running. Karen burst out of her house, arms flailing, voice screeching like an alarm. "Stop! What are you doing? That's a $200,000 car." But her screams didn't slow me down. I kept moving, pushing the Bentley backward inch by inch until my barn doors were finally clear. Only then did I ease off the throttle, park the tractor exactly where it belonged, and climb down. I brushed the dust off my jeans, looked her square in the eye, and said calmly, "You blocked my barn. Now it's unblocked." The look on her face was priceless. Redder than a stop sign, veins popping out her neck, she started yelling about lawyers, lawsuits, insurance, calling the police, you name it. She was throwing around every threat she could think of. But here's the thing, I knew my rights. My property is clearly marked with boundary lines. Every single time she parked there, she was trespassing. I had the legal right to move her car, and if my tractor just happened to move it in a way she didn't like, well, maybe she should have thought twice before parking it there in the first place. Sure enough, the police eventually showed up. Karen pounced on them like they were her personal security guards, ranting and raving about how I destroyed her car. But the officers were calm. They turned to her and asked a simple question. Why were you parked on his property in the first place? And just like that, her whole story crumbled. She stuttered, tried to twist the situation around, claimed she was just stopping for a moment. But the officers weren't buying it. They saw right through her act. They told her flat out she was trespassing and I was within my rights to clear access to my own barn. If she wanted to press charges, she'd likely end up paying more fines herself. You should have seen the look on her face then. It wasn't victory she tasted, it was defeat. The best part came afterward. Word spread fast through the HOA. Neighbors who had stayed quiet before suddenly spoke up. Turns out, Karen had been bothering just about everyone. Complaints about noise, demanding changes, acting like she ran the whole neighborhood. But after the Bentley incident, her reputation took a nosedive. The HOA itself stepped in. She was fined for her behavior, slapped with warnings, and rumor has it she's seriously considering selling her house just to get away from the embarrassment. As for me, my barn doors swing open freely now, every single morning. No more blocked entrances. No more nasty notes taped to the wood. Just peace, quiet, and the steady sound of my tractor doing exactly what it was built to do. And let me tell you, every time I fire it up, I can't help but smile. Because sometimes the only way to deal with a Karen is to stop talking and let the tractor do the talking for you. If you enjoyed this crazy story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more wild HOA and Karen tales, and turn on the bell so you never miss the next one.